What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Happy Mario Day, or Mar 10. We talked about this yesterday, how there were some sales, but yes, it is officially Mario Day, and man, we have some weird stuff to talk about today, specifically around GameStop and Reggie Fils-Aimé joining forces. Yeah, it was a strange announcement. We're going to break that down here today, talk a bit about that, and there's a new Call of Duty game, technically, coming out today, and it's free, and you can grab it later on, and we'll go over what all of that is. As well, as always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're brand new here, hit that red subscribe button down below as we head towards 400,000 subscribers, and we're going to start today with a PlayStation VR game that did get a date. It's coming pretty soon. We saw that the game Paper Beast, you remember that trailer that got shown, and I wasn't really 100% sure what it was exactly, but it was described as like this adventure style game, and we saw these creatures running around, look like they were made out of paper, and it was all on VR, so you're moving around, you're pointing a wand. It's coming out March 24th, and I'm not 100% sure on what this game exactly is. Now, I will say the art style, I think, helps with kind of just the idea of VR, since you only have so much power when it comes to VR with the PlayStation 4. It is PlayStation 4 Pro Enhanced, so I would assume the resolution is just better, moving up to, of course, what you need in VR, where you have two different eyes, so you need two different images, but I think the art style will work better for VR. I'm just not 100% sure what exactly this game is going to entail, but at least looks kind of neat. March 24th, though. Oh, and we had covered the closed kind of beta that was going on for Phantasy Star Online 2 on the Xbox One. For some people that I've talked to, that was like one of the first times they turned their Xbox One on in a while, but either way, we are getting an open beta. This is good news. We heard about this, but now we have a release date for it. For the open beta, you can just jump into Phantasy Star Online 2. I liked it a lot. I had a ton of fun with it on the Xbox One X, which was enhanced for the enhanced system, so it had like 4K resolution and all of that. Next week, you'll see this tweet here. It does say, the time is finally here. The Phantasy Star Online 2 North America Open Beta test starts next week, March 17th. Play one of Japan's biggest online action RPGs, coming first on Xbox One. Now, the closed beta was pretty easy to get into, but just in case you didn't go through the sign-up process or any of that, and you just want to just download it and go, open beta next week. I encourage everyone to at least try it, check it out, and I'm hoping that they have they had some issues with their servers, and they did eventually fix them and resolve them after they realized, oh wait, people actually want to play this game. Weird. Yeah, people do want to play Phantasy Star Online 2. It's the first time it's actually come over to North America, so it is a big deal for Phantasy Star fans to try this game out that they've seen Japan enjoy for years and years now. So make sure you check it out. I think it's free, so why not, really? But it's a good time for Phantasy Star fans. Also, if you're looking forward to Doom 64, which is coming out on the same day as Doom Eternal, well, on the Switch, Doom Eternal, of course, got delayed. We don't really know till when. Panic Button's going to figure all of that out. But Doom 64 is still showing up on the Switch that same day alongside the other versions of the game, and we got a little more information, and one part of it was pretty neat. It's getting a new chapter, so Doom 64 will have new content added into it for 2020. And it's so strange talking about Doom 64 now, but we've had all the other Doom games ported all over the place, so it was really cool to see Doom 64 pop up because it's been stuck on the 64 this whole time, but they are adding a new chapter to it, so we'll have something new to look forward to that I guess we've never played before, and it will support motion control, so gyro aiming on the Switch and the PlayStation 4. Sometimes people forget that the PlayStation 4 can have gyro motion controls, and that's something I wish they took advantage of more, but they will have it here with the Doom 64 version as well as the Switch version. So again, if you're on the Switch and you're like, Doom 64 got delayed, one, you might already be picking up Animal Crossing anyway, but two, I think it's worth checking out Doom 64 because the 64 version, it has been upgraded through emulation. People have worked on it with a project, but this is from Bethesda, and this should be like the definitive version of Doom 64 with new content, and it's like $5. So yeah, check it out on the 20th when it hits. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with GameStop. Now, we of course have talked about GameStop. They've been on a pretty steep decline now. a lot of that has to do with the way that they run their stores and how people view their customer service and having to go in there and get hassled for all kinds of stuff, pre-orders, and it almost feels like the management overall, going all the way up to the corporate level, is pretty disconnected from what the gaming world is currently, especially with it moving towards digital, right? I mean, a lot of people just don't even leave their house to get their games anymore. Back in the day, we would have to. Like, you got to go out and get it pretty much, and that's why the midnight releases were huge then, and now a lot of GameStops really barely do them at all. So to hear that they are having Reggie come in with also 2 other people to sit on their board, well, it's out of left field, obviously, right? No one was like, oh, Reggie's going to GameStop like 2 days ago or something. No, this was just big surprise. I didn't see this one coming. I don't think anyone did. So to hear about this is, it makes me optimistic, I guess, much more than what they'd be without Reggie. But there is a question about, can even Reggie turn around GameStop? Now, they also are bringing on 2 other seasoned veterans, executives as they call them. We have William Bill Simon, who served as the CEO of Walmart from 2010 to 2014, and then James Simisic, who was the CEO of PetSmart. So it's not just Reggie himself coming in. They are kind of cycling executives from the board, and they're bringing in some, I guess you'd say, new talent, new outlook, new viewpoints from this. And my only issue with GameStop and what they've been doing is that they keep bringing in people from other businesses or other companies that aren't really that familiar with games, right? Like, all right, so they're bringing in a CEO from Walmart. I'm sure he knows how logistics work in the background, right? Okay, this has to get to this store. We have to order so many. How do we kind of judge or predict the marketplace? I'm sure they could figure that out, or even try to I guess, influence some of the stock prices, try to appease shareholders, all of that, right? That's something you would have experience with as CEO of something like Walmart or PetSmart even. And I'm sure Reggie kind of, as head of Nintendo America, kind of had to hear some of that too. But to bring in Reggie is completely different for GameStop. This might be like the first time they've brought someone in who understands the gaming world, the gaming community, and Reggie is pretty good about that. He certainly knows how to have fun with the gaming community, leaning into a lot of jokes, and for the most part, we all know who Reggie is. So they brought in the big name, I guess, to try to get things done. I am curious what's going to happen here. Now, Reggie, his hiring doesn't go into effect until April 20th, so there's still a little over a month and a half, I guess, before he actually, will become a factor at GameStop, although I'm sure he's already thinking about ways to turn this whole thing around, and I gotta say, this is a challenge. Big time challenge. Now, I don't think Reggie retired from Nintendo to go work at GameStop. I think he retired from Nintendo to ride off in the sunset, maybe because he's still pretty young, right? For having already been Nintendo of America president and kind of looking around the market and is like, I still got some time left here. I can do something, and maybe the opportunity for GameStop popped up. He might even see it as a challenge to the point where it was that interesting to him. I could see that. I mean, if you think about it, it can't get any worse for GameStop. So, if he comes in and even does a decent job turning them around, it'd be seen as a success, even if GameStop inevitably goes on to struggle and possibly fail 10 years from now or something after he's left and retired from that, right? So I'm interested. This definitely makes me, like I said, a bit higher on GameStop because I think this is a great addition to their board to bring in someone who has knowledge of games and the way we all are kind of viewing. He's seen a lot, right? And he has a lot of connections within the gaming space, so you never know. GameStop could make some other deals, and all of a sudden, maybe they have those type of exclusive games that you only get at GameStop. There's some stuff that could happen here, but we'll see. But I'm really interested in what Reggie can do this year because he's been appointed along with these other guys kind of on the lead up to new consoles launching. So can they take advantage of that and really kind of have a shift at GameStop? We'll see. Next up, let's talk about Call of Duty Warzone. It is a battle royale that is coming to Call of Duty today. It's free to play as well, which is what I thought they should have done with something like Black Ops 4, where they kind of threw this battle royale together and put it in there, and okay, but you had to buy the game to play it, and it was odd when you had free-to-play stuff like Fortnite taking over. You feel like you introduce a mode that you can keep going just like Fortnite has pretty much forever at this point, and you just keep adding stuff to it and it stays free, separate from your Call of Duty games that are normal entries into the franchise, right? Well, it looks like maybe they'll be doing that. Seriously, this is a tweet that they did put out, Call of Duty, and I think it summarizes everything pretty well. Now, you'll be able to take advantage of this today, and you could just check it out. It's free, although you do need an Xbox Live subscription, so keep that in mind. It seems that if you have a subscription to PlayStation for their online service, you'll get some kind of extra pack for just being a member for PlayStation, whereas Xbox Live, hey, congratulations, you just have the ability to play the game. But let's take a look at this tweet here that says, let's review free for everyone. Shared progression with Modern Warfare, crossplay enabled, that's good. Battle Pass and item shop linked with Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare owners download tomorrow, that's at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And then new players download tomorrow, being today, at noon Pacific time. So if you do own Modern Warfare, you can just grab it from the time this goes up in just a couple hours, actually. So not bad there, but I do have some questions about this game in general, because they say it's going to have 150 people playing at once in one of these battle royale rooms. That's a lot of people. I have to see how all that's going to work out. And then I'm also curious if this will just be something that continues on, or if they're going to release another battle royale and then another one and another one, or is this going to be their quote unquote games as a service battle royale mode? That I'd prefer them to do it that way and then keep the other Call of Duty games separately. So we don't have to ask, what battle royale are you in right now? Which one? Okay, I'll jump into the Black Ops 6's battle royale. Oh no, now you're in Modern Warfare, so I'll jump into that. Just keep everything together, and if it goes well, do it like Rainbow Six Siege is doing and just port it to the next gen consoles, right? That seems pretty straightforward, and it has crossplay, which is awesome as well. And hey, if you haven't been into Call of Duty for a while and you didn't really feel like buying it because of what Activision's doing with all of their let's be honest, monetization practices that aren't very good, right? I mean, it's free. You can try it out, see what you think, and if you don't like it, you just uninstall it and move on. But hey, free to play Call of Duty dropping later today. Might be worth checking out if you're a Battle Royale fan. Next up, let's talk about Microsoft at GDC. They were going to go to GDC, but then obviously GDC canceled because of the coronavirus issues, and now it looks like Microsoft is just going to do their stuff through a live stream. They told us that, and then now they've put out the schedule, and I want to point to two different panels or events, there's live streams that they will be doing, because it could have information that's pertinent to the Xbox Series X. I mean, one of them, they just named the Xbox Series X, but the other one has to do with their ray tracing solution and other things that could be utilized with the Series X. So it will be day 2, you can see the listing here, and day 2 is March 18th next week, and you can see we have at 11:40 the Xbox Series X and Project X Cloud equals the new chapter in gaming. I expect them to talk quite a bit about the Series X, and obviously they'll, I'm sure, dive pretty deep into X Cloud, possibly with what the, maybe when they plan on launching it or the future of it or some other features they could have for it. But I'm very curious how deep they dive into the Series X. Could be very interesting there. And then at 1:20, they have what's new in DirectX ray tracing, mesh shading, and more. That could be more on the technical side, and they could possibly show some stuff that AMD hasn't even shown themselves, considering that Series X is going to be pretty much cutting edge and using stuff that AMD has not even put out to the marketplace yet. Seriously, the Series X could end up launching with like ray tracing and other things that AMD could have launched a month prior for their top-end video cards. The Series X is going to be something very interesting to follow, obviously leading up to its release, mostly for the price, because I want to see if this thing is $600 or even more. If they get this thing out at $500, I will be absolutely shocked with everything that they've listed so far. But GDC is not happening. However, we will have some live streams and possibly some more information for the Xbox Series X, and that could of course lead to some information for the PS5, considering AMD is working with Sony and Microsoft on both of them. So keep an eye out for next week, and I'll keep you guys updated here. And in our last bit of news, let's talk a little bit about a concern that people are having for next generation, which has to do with the idea of the Series X and the PlayStation 5 possibly being delayed into 2021 because of the coronavirus and factories being shut down and issues with production that we are sort of hearing about now. The concern has been, we're seeing games get delayed, right? Because developers just can't go to work because they're shutting offices down, and we're hearing about different companies like Nintendo or Microsoft allowing their employees to telecommute to work now. But The idea of being able to build an entire system in China, have tons of them mass produced, and get them over here in time for the holidays with all of that going on is leading to some people being skeptical of that holiday release at this time. But AMD decided during their financial briefing with analyst financial briefing to talk a bit about that. And this was according to AMD Executive Vice President of Computing and Graphics, Rick Bergman, who says that they still expect these consoles to hit their previously announced launch window of holiday 2020. And sure, AMD could say that because they, of course, are providing the chip itself inside the system and any of the configuration they're coming up with for RAM and all of that. And maybe they've been able to source that already alongside of Microsoft, but we've heard that Sony's been struggling with their pricing. Microsoft is probably concerned less about the pricing for the Series X, considering there's that rumor for Lockhart, whereas Sony is probably caught right now if they don't have another system that's cheaper ready to go. But I am happy to hear that at least the main part of the system, which is that chip that will house the CPU, GPU, all on one chip, will at least be ready. So it's kind of up to Microsoft and Sony to get the rest of the parts together, but AMD, probably based on ordering and R&D, seems like they think it's going to be holiday 2020 despite the issues going around with the coronavirus. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one is from Blizmo saying, Ori in 2 days. Now, where's that Silksong release date? Yeah, Ori tomorrow. The reviews should have come out earlier today. Hopefully, they did pretty well. I'm thinking a 90 to 91 Metacritic score right now. We'll see, though. That should have dropped an hour or two ago. I'm excited for Ori. That's going to be awesome. You say Silksong, and where is that? Well, think about this. Remember last year, GDC, we did have a Nintendo Indies presentation that was a pretty good one. It had Cuphead and Cadence of Hyrule in there, so it's a pretty solid presentation. GDC would have been next week. I wonder if it's possible that we get an Indies Direct and then we get like a main direct the week after. I don't know. It's something to consider, and hey, maybe Silksong's there. I don't know if that'll actually happen, but I guess you never know. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. Enjoyed this video, guys. Hit that like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, including Reggie and GameStop. Who saw that coming? I mean, come on. Also, do you think Reggie can turn GameStop around? Do you think he has the knowledge and the ability to do it? Let me know about that down below. And then also, what about Call of Duty Battle Royale being free to play? I think that's a good idea on their part compared to what they were doing. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.